Hey gang, I have a new ColdCase radiator for my wife's 67 Plymouth Barracuda. It's a V8 car. I have to have a 360 in it just for what it's worth. This is a direct fit, perfect fit as they say from ColdCase. Of course, when they made this radiator, I'm sure their car was in good shape, but after many years, and let's face it, even production tolerances aren't all that in the old days. This radiator does not sit low enough, and I'm going to show you how to check it before you do anything crazy. Just like you would put clay on top of your piston, put your cylinder head on top, put your gasket, check for valve clearance. Do the same thing here with this little bit of clay. It's spanning across the top of the radiator cap here. We're going to close the hood in a second. We're going to see how much clearance we have. Do note, you guys that have been in this game or have had one of these cars for a long time, or really any old cars, things aren't the way they're supposed to be. They say direct fit. Yeah, okay. Anyway, this radiator cap is much taller than the stock one, and this radiator is not bolted in. Right now it's sitting on the radiator support as low as possible. It's not bolted in. It's being held forward with some red shop rags between the clutch fan and the radiator, just to keep it pushed forward. What I'm going to do now is close the hood and show you just how much this squishes down. Hopefully the phone doesn't fall down while I close the hood. So, be right back. And as I close the hood, all right, the phone is still there. I'll bring it around. You can see we have this much clearance. Not too bad. Not too bad. It took a little playing around to get this to actually sit this low. Now the rest of this radiator, I am not too thrilled about, but we all know that's coming. Nothing lines up. So we can get it down here some more. No bolt holes to bolt it through. Not where it's supposed to be. Even over here. So what I did was I took a Sharpie. Let me see if I can find it for you. Oh, here it is. The standard Sharpie. Also come in a finer point. Let me see. Oh, that's the thick point. That's not the one I wanted to show you. But they also come in a finer point. It's good for sticking through holes and marking stuff. If the color black doesn't quite work, Bic has this stuff. It's a Bic whiteout. I think that's backwards because I have the phone switched around. But it's kind of like a paint pen, and you just shake it up, and this little tip right here you depress in. Let's see. There you go. You just scroll all over the place. Don't put it on anything nice. It doesn't exactly come off easy. So I marked it at the bolt hole down here, and all the other points. Where am I? And at least I now have a spot to drill out and make it nice. A good spot to point it. A good spot to put the point on, drill it out. Now you can put your bolt holes there and bolt it up. Other than that, it's not too bad. The radiator hose is off just a little bit as it's supposed to be. I mean, this is really nothing. This is nothing to cry about. And down low, it's off just a little bit. Not as much as the hose is off now, but you know, when you pick it up, very easy to move over. I don't know if you can see the down at the bottom of the radiator where the transmission lines come up, but they're in a pretty good spot. The fan shroud, completely useless, totally off. What I'm going to do is make some very flat metal tabs and bolt them to the radiator, and then have the rectangle like metal tab come out
and I'll bolt the fan shroud to that. So it's gonna have to be fairly stiff aluminum, I guess, or like a small piece of plate steel, something in the order of an 1/8 inch thick, something you could still bend and bring the shroud closer to the radiator will be used, and maybe I'll show that to you later. And this is part and parcel of the direct fit, perfect fit parts. My ass, nothing does, nothing. I mean, the cars were old, the tolerances were off to begin with, and you know, after many years, this stuff, even though she's a pretty car, she is off. So just be aware, all of you new guys. Nothing's gonna fit nice out of the box. Nothing ever really does. You know, almost everything's a modification. So you new guys, be aware of that. Us guys that have been around, been doing this since we're kids, we know this is coming. We just cross our fingers and say, gee, I hope they got better after all the years. Well, they may have gotten better. This is a pretty nice Radiator by ColdCase. It's just not perfect. The thing that irks me is where the holes are to mount it to the radiator support and the whole front. They are more than off. They're not even in the right freaking planet. Pathetic. I mean, really bad. Not just an inch. I mean, like 1.5 to almost 2 inches off. Way off. So, and a quick afternoon project. These things never are. So be prepared to spend time. And if you're new at this and you're new at fabrication, it'll probably take you 2 days. But that's all I got for now. I'll try to get some other stuff up for you as things go on. So stay tuned.